Okay, so we've looked at major triads. Now let's take a look at minor triads. We're still going to be dealing with the key of C, so these are still sort of C chords around the sound of C, in the key of C, but we're going to look at it from a minor perspective. So what is a minor triad? Well, if we think back to the theory section of our major triads, we described a major triad as the root, third, and the fifth. Root, third, fifth, 1, 3, 5, or C, E, and G. A minor triad is actually root flattened third, fifth, 1, flat 3, 5, or if in note names, if you want to think note names, C, E flat, and G. So I'm essentially taking the third, C, E, G, and flattening it down a semitone from E to E flat. So a minor triad is root flattened third, fifth. And what that means is everything we've learnt thus far on this DVD has been a major triad, root, third, fifth. If we take the third in each chord voicing and move it down a semitone, you've got yourself a minor triad. Let me just demonstrate that real quickly on the first triad that we looked at, which was this. I can take the third, the E flat, sorry, the E, and make it an E flat. Now I've got a C minor chord that you're probably aware of, using like an A minor bar shape on top of our bar in C. A minor shape, a minor chord. Now you can obviously go through the cage system again and you can refinger each one of those bar chords to have a minor quality to it. It doesn't work so well because the nature of the bars means sometimes you need to move a note back that you're unable to move back. But if we take C major, I could move the E down to an E flat. I can't play the open E string anymore. I could play from C major to C minor. For our G, I can go from C major. I'm just going to play the bottom notes. C minor sound from C major to C minor. Again, these are probably chords that you've played before. You might just not have thought about where they've come from, or even what makes them major, what makes them minor. Our last one becomes... So in each one of those, I've moved the E down to an E flat. It's really important for you to understand that I could walk you through this. I could take you through this in baby steps and do the work for you. But the best way that you could possibly learn this is to really experiment with what I'm saying. Play your chords, play each one of these triads and ask yourself, where is the third? Where is the E note? What happens when I move it down to E flat? Can I move it down to E flat? What does it sound like? I mean, you know what it sounds like. It's going to sound like a minor triad. You really won't get much benefit out of me meticulously showing you each single one of these, especially, I mean, I've got them all written down for you in the tablature. What would really be beneficial though is for you to ignore that and for you to sit and write them all out yourself. I like to think that I'm sort of presenting you with the tools that you need to make yourself a better chord player, but it will involve some work on your part. There's no sort of magic solution. And the best way to memorize these is to work them all out for yourself. That's probably, you know, a big factor in why I can remember all of these chord shapes. It's that I've sat and meticulously worked them out and reworked them out and written them down again, you know, for hundreds of students over the years. I'm just really familiar with all of these because I play them all so much. So let me just walk you through or play through what these minor triads are going to sound like in closed voiced form so you can sort of see where we're going. Refer to your tab and then we're going to play through this just as we did in the original open voice triads for major chords, but this time we're going to have minor tonalities. So instead of this, I can move the third down to the minor third. Now what that really does it teaches you something very important, and actually a big part of my concept of improvisation with single note ideas is that I'm always thinking chordally. What this teaches you to do is it teaches you to learn where the third is, and that's really, really important when you're improvising. If you ask me to improvise in C minor, I don't want to instantly go, cool, we're improvising in C minor, let me play a C minor scale. I want to play C minor. I want to sound like C minor, and to do that I might go. I'm focusing on key parts here, like the minor third there. Knowing where that minor third is comes from this, deep study of triads and learning where intervals live on the neck in relation to be honest, caged shapes. So there's our C minor using the A shape or shape 4 of the cage system. Practice that in your own time, arpeggiating, and you're going to get the same sound. Then try and move it up to the next position. So where we played C major, I can move the third down. And we've got a series of minor triads. All C minor sounds. Lots of sounds there for you. And again, you can do the same in our top or the C shape of the closed voice triads. Just forcing myself to play a C major triad, then make it minor. How do I do that? C major to C minor. 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 Then you could play through those just as we did before as an exercise, moving through each position. Lots of C minor triads there for you. Or you could try moving up through the shapes as you go to get something that sounds like, I don't know, maybe we'll go. That's me sort of moving up as I go, or maybe I go. Lots of options, numerous ways that you can go through there. But there's your sort of introduction to minor chords. It's really important that you go through each one of these closed voice triads and do it yourself. Really do sit down and work out what's the difference between major and what's the difference between minor. Just to close up this chapter, what I'd like to do is give you a musical example, a way that you can use this stuff in your everyday playing to sort of elevate you to the next level as a guitar player, somebody that understands harmony. And the beauty of the guitar is that we play chords on this instrument, and that is cool, but it really makes sense that you're good at chords. I never really understood why you wouldn't want to be good at chords, because as a guitar player, you probably spend most of your time playing chords. You don't get up with a band, stand on stage, spotlight on you, gig starts and you're going. You get fired, You're playing chords, you're playing rhythm guitar. And having an understanding of chords and harmony is good for that. So here's a musical application of this, applied to the Beatles' Let It Be. I've been playing this for years. It's a very popular tune to play live, but I just sort of got bored of playing with guitar players that didn't know anything other than open chords. So I let them play their open chords, and I would play some closed voice triads over the top of it that will sound like this. Let me just start by playing the open chords for you. That will sound like this. So you're probably familiar with those chords. We've got a C, which looks like this, to a G, an A minor, to an F, C, G, F, to a C. Now let me just play through that again for you, but I'm going to play closed voice triads. And you'll hopefully hear the chord progression still, but it's going to sound prettier. It's going to sound like something that would sit nicely over the top of an acoustic guitar player strumming those chords. So that will sound a little something like this. So hopefully you can see that sounds nice. It sounds like the chord progression. It sounds good. And I'm essentially just playing closed voice triads. C, G, then I'm thinking A minor, thinking F major, C, to G, to F, to my C. And that gives me a nice little chord pattern. To fit around the chords. Now I could obviously play that anywhere on the neck. I could play C to G to A minor to F to C to G to C, sorry, to F to C. Or I could go C to G to A minor to F to C to G to F to C. You know, limitless ways that I could go through this. Hopefully you can work out some of your own ways. I've transcribed the ways that I played through that in the transcription book. That's all for this chapter. I'll see you on the next one where we're going to get open.